Now to the latest on the brutal murder of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska. Accused killer Decarlos Brown Jr. spoke to his family from jail and reportedly admitted to them initially that he stabbed Zarutska because he believed she was reading his mind. Now, his sister, Tracy Brown, who was herself victimized by Decarlos in a 2022 attack, says he's a paranoid schizophrenic who's told her on multiple occasions that the government implanted a chip in him. This is audio from later in that phone call between Tracy and Decarlos. He has a slightly different reason for the killing this time, where he blames, quote, materials put in his body by the government.
You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they got to investigate the material in my body exposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they got to investigate. Whoever was working the material, they lashed out on.
President Trump weighed in again on the tragedy, posting online a tribute to the victim, who he called a beautiful young lady from Ukraine who came to America searching for peace and safety. Her killer, he called an animal and said the trial should be quick and the end should be the death penalty. Now to former Vice President Kamala Harris. The ex-Veep has a book coming out, and we're getting a sneak peek at what's inside. She blasts her former boss in the book, rebuking President Biden's, quote, recklessness for deciding to run for a second term. In the book, first obtained by The Atlantic, she also writes of Biden's second-term hopes. Quote, this wasn't a choice that should have been left to an individual's ego, an individual's ambition. It should have been more than a personal decision. The tough talk was a surprise to Biden aides who spoke to the Post. One of them noted that they think Harris admitting she should have said something sooner hurts her chances at a political comeback. The aide said, quote, no one wants a leader that can't speak truth to power. As for the then president's health and ability to do the job, she writes, quote, I don't believe it was incapacity. If I believed that, I would have said so. As loyal as I am to President Biden, I am more loyal to my country. Now over to Europe. A barrage of Russian drones were shot down this week, not in Ukraine, but in Poland. Now, this is a big deal because Poland is a member of NATO, and that means that an attack on one NATO nation is like an attack on all. President Trump was quick to react to the news, posting, quote, what's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go. Now, it's not really clear what he meant there by here we go, but if Russia was being provocative on purpose, it represents a ratcheting up of tensions between Russia and the West, and that could be messy. And if it was not purposeful, then that's also pretty messy. The fear in that case is that Russia doesn't know what it's doing when it comes to their drone program. Neither option is ideal. So I asked the Post's Washington reporter Diana Nerozzi about what sources there are saying, Russian provocation or Russian error.
The Russians are saying that the drones were not intended to hit Poland, and I saw some officials even saying that perhaps it was Ukraine. And that there's no proof that it was Russian drones.
Of course they did. Honestly, of course they did. Because that just seems to be straight out of their playbook.
But I was talking to a source in Poland today, and he said that it's clearly an attack. It's not, a mistake for so many drones to be flying into Poland from Belarus and from Russia. So the Poles are really seeing this as a direct attack.
Poland has been gathering intelligence since the incident and plans to convene a meeting of the country's National Security Council today. For more on this story and everything else you could possibly want to know, check out the New York Post in print or online. And don't forget, like and subscribe to the New York Post cast wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. You'll be glad you did.